Larrys, welcome back. It is I, your honorable sensei, and across from me,
the vicious scumbag.
And together we are Longturnlarry Podcast. And today we're looking at your mana base.
And it's horrible.
5 colors. You just be adding random stuff all up in your mana base. You don't even know what you doing, son.
Get away from those expensive lands. Don't build it till you know it.
Don't build until you actually know what you're doing. This even goes for me. I have a really ugly 5-color mana base I've been upgrading, and I need to look at it again.
This is a hashtag brokey alert.
Yeah, so we're talking about lands in general, but first you gotta start with a great building block. And that's what we're about to get at today. I have a budget 5-color land base.
Not 4, not 3, but 5.
All 5, all Woobergs. Actually, this mana base is so good, you could probably actually play like the Eldrazi nonsense. We have enough colorless sources in here. You could probably do that.
Shout out to the previous episode. Make sure you like and subscribe. We hope that you join the ever-growing army of Longturnlarrys.
Leave a comment if you don't like me. Leave a comment if you do like me.
And leave a comment if you like me. You like boys.
You got cooties. All right, let's get into it. So, this budget 5-color land base.
Yep,
if you go
budget.
to our Moxfield LTL, you can take a look at it.
It's in a book. It's on our Moxfield. If you remember, guys, you can always reference anything that we talk about in our episodes. All of it's going to be on our Moxfield.
Okay, so let's get started. So, how do you build a land base? Me, you're in 5 colors. You have access to green, the most important color.
Yeah.
When it comes to fixing your mana.
Yep. Ain't no color better at doing it.
Ain't no color better than doing that. So we're going to build our mana base off of green and being able to ramp and get forest. So we have a part here for cards that ramp us into forest or forest adjacent things here. Yes, our land base comes with a ramp package, because why would you build a land base separate from your ramp package?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. You need it all together, so you're going to get it all at once, and you're going to be grateful.
Right. So these are cards I would not skimp out on. We have Nature's Lore. We have 3 Visits and Sky Shroud's Claim.
All incredible cards.
All of them allow us to ramp and go get a forest, which is very important. The forests that we have as a base are all snow covered. And I'll explain to you why.
Because he like ice.
Ice. Yeah, we
stay frozen. Oh, you know what time it is.
So we're running Woodland Chasm, Rhinewood Falls, Highland Forest, and Arctic Tree Line. If you look at them, they're all forest plains or forest mountain, forest island, and forest swamp, because you want to be able to go grab whatever color you need by searching for forest.
That's right. And it's the easiest thing and most common thing to search for.
Now, you're probably wondering, why aren't we just playing the non-snow duels? It's because we're also running Into the North. Into the North, 1 in the green lets you search for a snowland and put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So we essentially have 3 ways in our rent package to go find these specific lands.
Also, too, and shout outs to previous episodes. When we covered green card draw and ramp, 2-drop ramp, in my opinion, is like one of the better ramps. It's because you're getting it out of the way very early. So to get another quote unquote nature's lore, yeah, I'll take running a couple of snowlands for no downside to gain a new nature's lore.
And we want to get all of our tap sources out of the way.
Yeah, you want to why not? If you're going to do it, we've talked about this again. If you're like Myriad Landscape, do it when you can. Don't wait.
Okay. We're also running Farseek. Farseek is a cheeky way to go get our forest because they're dual typed.
Yes.
Which is funny. We're also running Cultivate and Kadama's Reach. These go get our basics. We're running 2 of each. They also put a basic in our hand because you're not ramping if you don't play a land the next turn. You're just getting ahead of the game. Hour of Promise searches for 2 lands, so it's not forest, but we can go get any land that we want. Put them onto the battlefield. Also, we have Rampant Growth just to finish it out. So we have 9 pieces of sorcery ramp. We are also running a singular hero because hero.
Oh, beautiful instant speed. Hero is super good. It's also too, make sure you're making plays if you can with Hero because those lands don't come into play tapped. So you can use the land that you're sacrificing that you paid to play Hero, and then you get 2 others in. So you can try to keep that in mind.
Okay, so the other tap duel, we're playing one more that's not snow, and it is specifically the Haunted Mire. It is a forest and a swamp.
It's spooky.
And you're probably wondering, why are we running this singular non-snow duel? We are playing the full Tainted series of lands. So it's Tainted Field, Tainted Isle, Tainted Peak, and Tainted Wood. They all tap for a colorless, and then they tap for a white or black or blue or black, depending on them.
Yeah, always a black and something.
Only if you have a swamp. So the way the land base is built is that as long as you have a forest or a swamp onto the battlefield, purposely if we have either one of the duels that are both forest and swamp, all of our check lands and all of our tainted lands are activated.
Take it to the bank because we're trying to check in. All we need are forests and swamps. So how check lands work, these are really budget friendly. All of these are going to be, it comes into play tapped unless, and then they all have a bunch of differing things, but the consistent standard here is if you either have a swamp or a forest, all of these aren't going to come into play tapped. So we got Dragon Skull Summit, Drowned Catacomb, Hinterland Harbor, Isolated Chapel. That one's really cool. Rootbound Crag, Sun Petal Grove. Oh, we got to talk about it. And then Woodland Cemetery. That's the other one too. Shout outs to the past when someone played that Sun Petal Grove and you gasped because it was.
They were like $20 to $30.
Yeah.
I swear. Like if you saw somebody with a dual land and it came in untapped, you were just like.
CEDH
oh my
in flesh.
Competitive kitchen table magic.
No! My basic deck that has no idea what I built it's just cards. It's probably not even the correct amount of them.
I'm only playing duels. And no removal. Or all removal.
Please. But these are the only downside to the checks. You can't go hunt for them. But the benefit to them is they don't come in tapped depending on how we're playing this, which we're incentivizing swamps and forests.
Outside of those, we do have some other duels. We have our pain lands.
Ouch.
Ouchies. A Darkheart Waste, a Battlefield Forge, Shivering Reef, Underground River. Oh, none of these are green because we already have a lot of green and we don't need any more green. We also playing one Mystic Monastery. It taps for white, red, or blue. And then we have one Filter Land, Rugged Prairie for red and white.
You mean Mystic Monastery taps for freedom because it's red, white, and blue.
Oh my goodness.
Eagle Scream.
We're playing two of the... What do we call these? They're not fetches. They're just like Evolving Wild effects.
They're still a fixer because...
they're not... They're fetches.
They're fetches.
But they're not fetches.
Exactly. This is...
Like if I called these fetch lands, people would be like... I'm going to call them fetch lands. I don't care.
They're basically a fetch.
Oh. We're running Evolving Wilds, and then I have Escape Tunnel here. I don't know if Escape Tunnel works for the deck that you're looking for, but it's got upside, so might as well have it.
You could also include Terramorphic. There's no downside. It's just another Evolving Wilds. There's literally no difference.
And then we're playing three of the... They tap for all 5. Path of Ancestry enters to play tapped and add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Whenever mana is spent to cast a creature, I don't care. We always forget about the Path of Ancestry.
Yes.
It comes in tapped. It taps for 5 colors.
It's a command tower that came in tapped. And if you happen to be an elf ball, it has extra things for you.
Command Tower is Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, taps for a mana of any land an opponent controls.
What's really funny is when the table only plays Exotic Orchards and you're just like Spider-Man pointing at each other like, but I can make what you make.
But since I can make what you make, wait. I can make what I make?
Wait. I'm going to tap it for green. This is at time of recording, and this is including, Dwayne's jewelry, because we have 3 mana rocks. We have Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, and Soul Ring. And please, those don't need explanations, please. But at time of recording, this is $62.87, and that's with the current printings. I bet we could even probably squeeze it cheaper if we hunted. But Larry's, that's remarkable. Like, that's a remarkable price for a competent 5-color mana base that can fit most 5-color decks that you're going to play. There are going to be outliers, and I can already, I know that there are some really good includes, but this is, Honorable took the time to try to find truly, like, good budget, because there are cheaper cards, but they're really bad.
Right. I'm never gonna give you a terrible no. Oh, it's cheaper. Trust me.
You won't do it.
Spend a little bit of shmoney so that like at least your budget land base is always good. So let me tell you about how perfected this mana base is. 41% of the lands produce green. 43% of the lands produce black. For white, blue, and red, they're both all at perfectly 35%.
It's beautiful. And you even have a 4th of colorless, which makes it to where it's not hard to hit. It's there. A 4th of this mana base can produce colorless mana.
So if you're, Eldrazi, Tron...
Yeah, if you're trying to get frisky with some interdimensional ghoulie boys, like, yeah, we got you covered.
We got you covered.
And if you are thinking, I don't need that much green, okay, you're not playing Your Tiller. That's the name of it, by the way. You're not playing Your Tiller, and if you are, which is, by the way, 4 colors minus green, it's Wooburg minus green, it's called Your Tiller. You don't need this anyway.
Get out of here.
You like artifacts.
So let's get into like the discussion of lands that you can play for your. Now that we have a baseline, we can talk about lands that you can play outside of the budget.
Upgrades, baby.
So let's first start on your 5-color package here. So we have Ancient Ziggurat. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to play creatures. Play creatures. So with Cavern of Souls, makes your creatures uncounterable. Play a creature type.
City of Booty, of Brass. This is a pain equivalent of a command tower. Of course, we also are talking about Forbidden Orchard. This one's trade-off is we're not tapped, but one of your opponents gets a 1/1 spurt.
Maybe it's upside for your deck.
Yeah, depending.
Mana Confluence, sort of like City of Brass. You're going to get hit. Plots of Heroes is really good for like your legends. Legends are getting more and more powerful by the day.
100%.
So you might be able to just play this as like a 5-color land. The World Tree is the fixer among fixers.
It's so good. It's very good. It's overall good.
Once you have the World Tree and 6 lands, you just tap. You don't care.
Yep.
And then Unclaimed Territory, when it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type.
Taiwan.
Wait, what? Oh my goodness. You want to get us canceled about China.
Our Chinese credit score went up by 200.
No, it got worse.
Our social score.
It got worse. There is no Taiwan. It's only China.
Oh, no, you're right. It did go down. Oh, my apologies. No.
Stupid. Battle Bond lands. Battle Bond lands are they're mid expensive. Like they're all roughly somewhere between like $12 to like $20. Upside, if you're playing Commander, they come in untapped.
Downside, can't hunt for them. They have no typing. So they don't trigger anything. But I mean, hey, I don't get hurt doing it. And
So I would add these, but you don't want to cut from your named forest, swamp,
your searchables,
basic typings. Yeah. You don't want to cut your basic typings for your bond lands. You want to cut sort of like a filter for these.
We just covered it, but it's still in this wonderful list. All the budgets are also listed here as well. But these are going to include more of those triumphs, more
triumphs.
You know, the ones that aren't labeled, you can't fetch for them. And then of course your other pains that are going to hurt you. These are just all of these cards have either hyper efficient versions of themselves that are going to be, 10 times more expensive.
The check lands almost don't fall off until like your budget is like crazy. Like you're like you're like maxing out. Like I think you can always bet on the check lands. The Tainted series can be sort of iffy. You just have to invest in swamps. If you're able to do that, you can keep the Tainted series in. And then the pain lands are also very good until you're maxing out. If you're okay with taking a little bit of damage so that you don't lose tempo, and remember, you're 5-color, like you want to keep tempo.
You have to keep up with you have to keep up with monocolors, 2 colors, and 3 colors that are gonna run you down. So you have to be fast. I mean, that's your trade-off though. You get access to everything because you're 5 colors.
You want to talk about some dorks?
Of
some
course.
nerds?
Let me put on my glasses. These are going to be your basic ones. Me and Honorable always talk about this. You pick the card that fits the job. You don't just put it in because you know it works. So some honorable mentions to make sure we cover here. Faeral Elder and Bloom Tender. These are incredible cards. But if you're technically 5 color, you can't see it. We're doing finger quotes. And you're running mono. It's like it's all black, but you're technically Wooburg. Don't run Bloom Tender. Don't run Faber Elder. You need multiple colored things.
Like if you don't have like cheap 5 color or multi colored permanents, you might not want to run these because if like your commander's like Sensei.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have Bloom Tender out. And it's like, yeah, Bloom Tender taps for 2. That's still good. But like you could be maximizing this and getting 4. Really, you want to hit like 3.
For it to make sense. Yeah.
You really want to hit 3. It's a $16 card. So come on, man.
Exactly.
Faber Elder is cheap, but it's 3 mana.
And it's because Bloom Tender made up for the fact that it was only 2. That's what makes it so good, because there are other 1-drops that can tap for, 5 colors. For example, we have Birds of Paradise, Avacyn's Pilgrim, Ignoble Hierarch, Noble Hierarch, Ornithopter of Paradise. I mean, all of these are going to tap as a 1-drop. So if you're not giving me more than 1 mana, and it doesn't matter about 5 color because Birds of Paradise and Ornithopter are tapping for Wooburg.
The Ornithopter is 2-drop.
Oh, the second Ornithopter is a 2-drop. No, this is very true. Bird. No, there's plenty of dorks that would easily fit. So yeah, Bloom Tender and Faber, keep those in mind. You don't really want to look
the
too
2
deep.
mana ones aren't as efficient as the 1 mana ones, but like at 2, you can always get mana of any color with like some type of upside or downside. So don't feel pressured to pay for BOP if you don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
You can always get mana fixing from dorks at 2 if you want a little bit of tempo loss.
It's not a horrible trade. Like you'll get, like, for example here, Sylvan Caryatid. It's a 2-drop 0/3 that has Defender and Hexproof, but it can tap for any color. So yeah, we gain Hexproof, but I'm not really that mad if you blue removal on my bird, because I'd so much rather keep something more important.
If you're in Commander and you're bolting the bird, I think you got a problem.
Exactly. So it's like, is the Hexproof a benefit? I mean, yeah.
Maybe you should bolt the bird if it's an elf deck,
Yeah, exactly. You can slow them down and kill their Llanowar elf if you need to.
Fetchlands, man. Fetchlands. Let's talk about the ones that aren't fetches. Blighted Woodland. It's here because it's a fetchland. If you put your eye over it.
You got to squint. Yeah, you got to squint.
I can't remember what the other one is that's cheaper than Blighted Woodland that gets 2 of the same basic type.
Myriad.
Please don't play it.
Myriad Landscape.
Don't play that in your 5 color. Like,
that's really good in mono and 2 color decks. You're pushing it with 3, but it can work.
You're in 5 color. You want to go get 2 different lands. Play the Blighted Woodland if you need to. I don't really think you need to. It's a desperation play.
I mean, yeah. Blighted will get the job done because, I mean, you're tapping for green to do it. This is an extra, let's see, like explosive veg is pretty much what you're doing.
Like if you have like landfall effects, maybe. Fabled Passage in Prismatic Vista. Like Fabled Passage is essentially like Prismatic Vista. Like,
yes, it's so much cheaper. Prismatic is great, but if you're going to spend the money, and I think you have a point for this too, if you're going to spend the money on things, go get the forest doubles and focus more on the ramp cards.
Go get the things that like really matter. Like having a Prismatic Vista over a Fabled Passage doesn't make your deck.
Exactly.
How much? Fabled Passage is $7. Prismatic Vista is $35.
Yeah, you could literally buy 5 Fabled Passages.
Right, it doesn't make your deck 5 times more powerful.
No.
Think about that. Fetches, they are very uniquely powerful in a way that I don't think you can understate.
Yeah, they're good. Like, they're very good because they don't come in tapped and they can instantly go do their job.
Right. I don't feel pressure to get fetches. I remember I got all of my fetches when they were cheap.
Yeah, you got lucky.
All of them were like $7 to $15.
Yeah.
Because they had just got reprinted. And now they're starting to go back up again because modern is more popular.
Which I am in love with. I know that we're mainly a Commander channel, but I like the idea of the other.
I love modern.
Same.
If you're trying to min-max or if you just have them on the side, like...
Yeah, if you have, great. But unless we've been referencing things, remember the deck kind of determines what you need more than others. If you're landfall, fetches are gross.
Yeah.
Because it's a double land trigger. And no, it's beautiful. If you're not landfall, you're taking life hits and they're expensive in real life currency.
And then you're usually going to go get like Triumphs, Shocks, or Surveil lands.
Yep.
With that being said, like shock, like fetching and shocking, if you do that 3 times, that's like 9 life.
Yeah, you took 3 bolts to the face to get out 6 lands, and now you don't even have them because the fetches died to go get the other 3. Right. So you took 9 damage for 3 lands.
Right. I mean, sometimes it's worth it.
Ooh,
I think it's a little bit overrated.
That's a lot of squeeze for not a lot of juice. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's work. But if you got them, use them. There's no downside because it's going to take up less room in your deck. You're filtering. You're filtering out the crap because now you're 1 less card to draw and you're getting yourself another.
Oh man, that perfectly segues into our next.
Ooh, like a Brita, we're trying to filter out this crap. What happens when you need red and you only drew into blue, black, and white? Don't get me wrong, you have 3 colors, great, but you need red. Well, wah, wah. That's where filter lands come in. They aren't going to increase your mana count. You can look at them as just... If you have this and another land, you just have 2 lands. They're not increasing your land count. But what they're allowing you to do is, hey, pay me a mana and I'll give you 2 of something else. So they allow us to fix. They're wonderful because they normally don't come into play tapped. And I think the better ones are going to be the like Fetid Heath versus say like Dark Water Catacombs. The reason why I'm saying that is Fetid Heath can tap on its own. It does require you to have a specific color to filter, but it can tap on its own. Meanwhile, Dark Water, it doesn't matter what you're using to tap into it, but it only is going to give you black or blue. These are kind of last resort, but they're really cheap. But you'll explain.
Yeah, the Signet filter lands, the one you need to put, you can put any color into and they make a blue or a black or any one combination. Yeah. They are strictly, I wouldn't say strictly worse, but they can present sort of like a challenge. I typically tell people when you're playing, you sort of want to use your filters first because you want to get them out the way because there's been so many situations where you're trying to leave up mana and you forgot like the filter land is a filter land and it's not like a regular land. I'm like, oh crap, I don't need these 2 specific colors. I actually needed this and something else. The other filter lands that are the dual typed, that you can put, let's say Cascade Bluff, blue or red, they do like real fixing. Like you can have blue, red blue, or red. Yes. And I didn't know this before because it wasn't like this before. They're really cheap.
Yes. No. Yes, I remember them always being on the cheaper end. Not like pennies, but they've always been cheap.
Except for two. Firelit Thicket is $18 and Sunken Ruins is $27.
Yo, Magic, you can reprint those two. It's okay.
Wooded Bastion is $14, but all the other ones are like $2.
Yeah, we're going to say these are normally very budget friendly, except for those three. Apparently, if you're playing Selesnya, Demir, or Gruul, you're pretty much, you got to pay a premium.
You got to pay. That is not the way. That is not the path I want to go. But I will show you the pathway. We're talking about these pathway lands.
They're so pretty.
They're really pretty, and they're really quite effective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like, hey, do you need green or do you need blue? Decide now.
Yeah, choose wisely. But, I mean, no downside, though. Like, no tapped, no I hurt you, no you got to do something. No, just you have to pick. I mean, it'd be really cool if they could flip, like, after. Like, you have to pay, like, 4 mana, and it's like, or, like, you know, return it to your hand. That'd be really cool if they had, like, a self-return feature.
Or if you paid, like, 3 life.
Something.
And then you could...
Yeah, you could flip it. That'd be really cool. But otherwise, I love these. I think all of them are really very unique. I think there's a running trend with them. You know, they're always going to be normally a family pairing if you look. So, no, it's beautiful. I love all the pathways. They're not hyper expensive either. But they're not cheap.
They're most of them are sub $10. So like great just, you know, I got some money.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to go get a shock, but you can go get it to Needle Verge Pathway. Mana rocks. Where do we start? Let me start off with the most hated mana rock here, Chromatic Lantern.
Oh man, I have such a love-hate with what's about to be said.
No, he doesn't have a love-hate. He has a love for it, and I hate that he loves this card.
I adore it.
There is absolutely, positively no reason to play Chromatic Lantern if you build your mana base correctly.
I did not agree with that statement back in the day. I didn't, because I would just look at honorable. Man, we used to butt heads. I would explain that how is it bad that I can tap for anything? And no, you're right. I'm wasting a slot for barely any benefit.
Now, if I was building like a deck for like a new player and they wanted it 5 colors, I would play Chromatic Lantern just for ease of use. And I think that's the only reason you would play Chromatic Lantern is for ease of use.
I mean, it's not crazy expensive. It's only 3 mana. It doesn't come into play tapped. It doesn't do anything extra, but it does tap on its own for any color. And then it does allow all of your lands to tap for things. And it doesn't care if they're basic or non-basic. So, I mean, I don't think it deserves too much heat, but I agree with you.
Garbage. Do better.
Your honorable sensei wants you to do better, and your vicious scumbag's telling you can take the day off. I think Chromatic isn't a must include anymore, but I think it's a great inclusion.
It was never a must include. Get rid of it. Do better. I believe in you.
Oh,
He doesn't believe in you.
that's right.
I do.
You know what I believe in? I believe in mana rocks. Cold, hard steel.
I think the only ones to note here, Relic of Legends is broken in a legend deck, or if you're not specifically legends, you just got a lot of them. Jeez, this thing goes bananas.
And then if you were unfamiliar, there's the talisman type of mana rock, which is just going to be your pain land or shock land version of a... It's a shock land. No, it's a pain land.
It's pain.
Yeah, they're pain artifacts. And then, of course, you have the signets, which are going to be the fixers. And then, I mean, it's very basic. Felwar Stone's going to be your exotic orchard.
I don't know when you should play.
Artifacts matters. If you're an Artifact Matters deck, it's okay to run.
Yeah, that's
mana
that's
rocks.
what I was about to say. That's the only time I would run talismans or signets in your 5 color.
Yeah. Or if you're a big mana matters deck.
I'd rather just play ramp spells.
No, I agree. I'm trying to think of scenarios to where you could make them work. Making artifacts into creatures. There's things you could do.
Yeah, I would just play like ramp spells because it's permanent and like
Yeah.
you know, you're playing all 5 colors. Like you telling me you ain't got something that destroys all artifacts?
I will admit though, Arcane Signet though is like
Arcane Signet gets played in every, like, you don't leave home without Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, and Soul Ring. They are excluded from this conversation because they're just extremely effective.
They're cost efficient. They aren't really expensive in real life. Very easy to get your hands on, and they can easily fit in anything. Ooh, did you tell him about the glory that you were hunting for?
What glory?
Because you told him about how we were going into the north.
I already talked about that.
You told him how we were in a search for glory?
No, I didn't.
You need to tell them. The Honorable is on a pilgrimage. An icy pilgrimage. And he needs to search for glory.
All right, okay. The transition's really good. All right. Search for Glory is a snow sorcery, 2 colorless and a white. You can search your library for a snow permanent card, a legendary card, or a saga card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle library. You may gain 1 life for each snow spent to cast a spell. So this is something you can technically add to the budget 5 color mana base. It doesn't ramp. Cool. It doesn't ramp.
Nope.
But it does have the flexibility of you being able to just go grab, if you're like in desperate need, which happens, to go find a land, you could go find a land and play it.
Yep.
It also searches for a legendary card.
Yeah. This is a poor man's, diabolic if you're hunting for a creature.
Yeah,
it's like an Eldrami's
This is
call.
a white diabolic for legendaries, and you could go grab a land or a saga.
You have access to other things. And then by nature, we're being running the snowlands because there's no downside to them. You're going to gain if you did some snow stuff, hey, you get a life too. There's no downside for this. Search for Glory is beautiful. Shout out to a previous episode when we talked about Pearl's real dad, Eugene. You showing me how to go get an island because we already had an island is still the most ridiculous. I'm still angry and impressed. So no, Search for Glory is like an equivalency for snow. And I think it fits really well. No, I really do.
I feel like that left you shocked and appalled. Shocklands. Genuinely the best or second best lands of all time.
Yeah, land type. Yeah.
Fetches are probably number 1. Shocks are maybe number 2.
The thing that fetches go get.
What is there to say? Most of them are pretty expensive. You're spending like $20 roughly for a shock. If you got the cash, spend it. If you don't, you don't really have to.
These are really cool if you already had them, because back in the day, some of them weren't crazy and you had a chance of pulling them. They weren't like hyper rare. But now I don't think I could justify, like, per example, buying these 9 would be $177. Larry's, the previous budget 5 color land base was cheaper than $110 cheaper than just 9 shock lands. Yeah, I'll take a 5 color mana base and totality over 9 lands.
I have most of my shocks.
Yeah. But I mean, we've been playing for a very long time. That's different. If you're just getting it,
I've bought them recently. That's why I need you
to like and subscribe and to love your Longturnlarry.
I need money.
And then, of course, we have the slow lands. These are going to be the ones that come into play tapped unless you control 2 or more lands. These are going to be, there's nothing wrong with them. They don't have any typings to them. And they're normally going to tap for a group of colors. So either, black or green, white or blue. They're not going to be any 5 colors. But as long as you have 2 or more lands, it doesn't matter what they are, these don't come into play tapped.
These things are excellent. You should play them if you have them. And except for 2, they're typically pretty budget.
Yeah, Death Cap is expensive, but Deserted Beach and Dream Root Cascade are not. A couple of bucks versus 15. This stuff adds up too, especially if you have a couple of decks that you're building a base for.
This is why I only have one 5-color mana base.
Ooh, then the expensive boys.
Oh man, I love these.
I do too. They have some of the best artworks too.
Triums, the real ones.
Yeah, the actual Triums, the ones that list the land types in their typing.
So I'm gonna put you on some game.
Facts.
Let's say for your birthday, your girlfriend. You don't have a girlfriend.
Please, I love Atali. She's my girlfriend.
My body pillow. Let's say I'm gonna find you 2 Triumphs that you want, 2 cards. If you want to do that, it should probably be Spara's Headquarters and Zeatora's Proving Ground. Why, you ask? Well, if you have both of these lands and their base is forest, you have domain. So you have all 5 basic land types. So all of your checks work. All of your tainteds work. All your bull works. So it is really easy to, only play these 2. And the Zeatora is the cheapest of the chucks. It's only $10.
Because nobody liked Jund. I do, but that's probably not why.
And then Spara's Headquarters. Okay.
Don't you ever cycle these away. Ever.
I do.
I know you do.
But yeah, they fit your basic land types. So it fixes any of your checking lands if you need that to be. But I wouldn't run all 10 of these. I think that's wildly irresponsible.
Well, all of them enter tapped. So here's what I'll say. If you have a way to make sure they don't enter tapped, which is very common, there's tons of ways to do it, then fine. If your deck is based around that kind of stuff, great. You could run all of them because then their only downside is removed. If you're not doing that, if you're not running the turtle that lets everything come in untapped if you felt like it.
Or Tiller Engine or any other stuff.
If you're not running that, then no, I agree with Honorable. You're actually slowing yourself down and thinking that you're getting faster. You're not. You don't need all of them. You only would run these for the colors that you're most dominantly in if you're going to run any outside of Spara and Zetorius. So, no.
I mean, at that point, if I have Spara and Zeatora and you have 2 fetches.
Yeah, you're fixed. Just that simple. There's nothing else you need. And if you were, whatever you were missing, if you needed a double.
At that point, you just need to make land drops.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
But yeah, don't play all 10. I think I run 4. I run Jetmir's Garden.
Oh, I love Jetmir's.
Rafine's Tower.
That's the other one.
Zeatora's Proving Ground, Xander's Lounge, and Spara's Headquarters. And I'm actually thinking about cutting the Rafine's tower?
I ran all 10 of these in my group hug because I made a 5-color Kenrith group hug. The downside is I ran these and then I ran the other ones. Larry's, don't be like Scumbag.
Please don't play mono tap lands.
Yeah, it don't make no sense.
If you're gonna spend $190 and still play the terrible other Triumphs, you're smoking crack.
Yeah, you're spinning wheels for no reason.
Any lands that aren't on this list are because they're either niche or they're terrible.
Or they're hyper expensive. Because the true duels are not on this list.
If you're playing with the true duels, why are you even here?
Yeah. Hi. You should talk to us about when Magic was created. You dinosaur.
Or you just have way too much expendable income.
Yes. And if you do, hi.
Hey, we don't currently have a Patreon, but
it's in the works, Larry's. It's in the works. Guys, make sure you comment and, let us know what you'd like to see. We adore being able to make stuff that you guys are after. I know that they're, hunting for information sometimes is a pain. And so if there is a deck tech, card you're after, or something that you just would like to see, leave us a comment talking about it. Somebody asked and wanted to know about a 5-color mana base. And that's why we're here, trying to make it easy.
These don't do well. We do them for you.
Yeah, we do it because we love you guys.
Watch the video. Make comments. Send them to your friends. We trying to make some money on this, cuh.
That's right. And then we get to make more stuff for you guys. Come on, it's a win-win.
It is I, your honorable Sensei.
And I, the vicious Scumbag.
And together we are
Longturnlarry Podcast.
Bitches.